Hi, I'm Gerardo. I'm here with the Mass readings for Friday, September 8th, 2017. Today we celebrate the feast of the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary from the Lectionary 636. For today's readings, the Church allows us to select from two readings, either Micah chapter 5 verses 1 through 4, or Romans chapter 8 verses 28 through 30. And for the Gospel, we may select from either Matthew chapter 1 verses 1 through 16, or Matthew chapter 1 verses 18 through 23. In my readings for today, I have selected to read Romans chapter 8 verses 28 through 30, and the Gospel according to St. Matthew chapter 1 verses 18 through 30. The first reading, Romans chapter 8 verses 28 through 30. Brothers and sisters, we know that all things work for good, for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. For those he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, so that he might be the firstborn among many brothers. And those he predestined, he also called. And those he called, he also justified. And those he justified, he also glorified. The word of the Lord. The responsorial psalm for today is Psalm 13. The response is, "With delight I rejoice in the Lord. With delight I rejoice in the Lord. Though I trusted in your mercy, let my heart rejoice in your salvation. With delight I rejoice in the Lord. Let me sing of the Lord. He has been good to me. With delight I rejoice in the Lord." The Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 1, verses 18 through 23. This is how the birth of Jesus came about, when his mother Mary was betrothed to Joseph. But before they lived together, she was found with child through the Holy Spirit. Joseph, her husband, since he was a righteous man, yet unwilling to expose her to shame, decided to divorce her quietly. Such was his intention when, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, "Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary your wife into your home, for it is through the Holy Spirit that this child has been conceived in her. She will bear a son, and you are to name him Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins." All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. "Behold, the virgin shall be with child and bear a son, and they shall name him Emmanuel," which means God is with us. The Gospel of the Lord. The Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary. It is said that Our Lady's Nativity has been celebrated as far back as the 6th century. However, it was not adopted by the Church of Rome until the 7th century. In my research, I found an article in CatholicAnswers.com written by Frederick G. Holwick. It states in part, "The earliest document commemorating the feast of the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary comes from St. Romanus in the 6th century. The great ecclesiastical lyrist of the Greek Church composed for it a hymn. St. Romanus was a native of Emesa in Syria, deacon of Berytus, and later on at the Blachernia Church in Constantinople, and composed his hymns between 536 and 556 AD. The feast may have originated somewhere in Syria or Palestine in the beginning of the 6th century, when after the Council of Ephesus, under the influence of the Apocrypha, the cult of the Mother of God was greatly intensified, especially in Syria. St. Andrew of Crete, in the beginning of the 8th century, preached several sermons on this feast. The Church of Rome adopted it in the 7th century from the East. It is found in the Galatian 7th century and the Gregorian 8th to 9th century. Since the story of Mary's nativity is known only from apocryphal sources, the Latin Church was slow in accepting this Oriental feast." End quote. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed day.